Hey there, it's Tresa. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new. And if you are back, I'm so glad to have you come back and check out this video. So what I am making today, it's been hot. It's been the 4th of July weekend. It's been really hot here in New Hampshire. And I feel like it's one of the hottest summers. I lived down south of here for 26 years, and I moved up here, and we're having a hotter summer up here than I think I ever had down there. So I am giving you a delicious no bake, no cook recipe that is really yummy and super easy to make. So what I have is a baking sheet. I lined it with you can use parchment or wax paper. I like the unbleached kind. And I have some dates. These happen to be some that I had picked up at Trader Joe's. They are dried and pitted. Pitted means the pit's been removed. I know it's kind of weird. And what I'm doing is just cutting them open. You can see that. I'm standing back here so you can see my tray. But let me see if I can move a little closer and you can still see it. All right, so I'm gonna cut them all open. And when it's hot like this and there's lots of fresh fruits and vegetables available, I've been eating, well, strawberry season is pretty much over. It's almost blueberry season up here. I've gotten some wild raspberries and tomatoes and zucchini and peas. And when I have a day that's a little bit cooler, I will cook some of the vegetables. But I've been doing that carrot salad that I shared with you guys a lot, and I just eat tomatoes just like right off the plant. If I have, my plants aren't there yet, but my garden is very late, but that's okay, better late than never. So I do a lot of salads when the weather is a little bit cooler, or if I have an evening that's a little bit cooler, I might cook up some chicken or take it out on the grill and grill up some chicken so that I have it to put in salads. You can always do some canned tuna or some sort of a canned fish. Just make sure it's wild caught and don't eat it every day, but once in a while, that's fine. I'll do that once in a while in a salad for some protein. You can also cook up some beans. You can make some hummus. But I try to do that when it's a little bit cooler. So this is really 4 ingredients. It's dates. And if you get the kind that aren't pitted already, they're easy to pit. You just cut it open and pop the pit out. So I've got whatever I had left in the bag of these dates. I need to get some more. And I try to open them up as flat as I can on the baking sheet. And then peanut butter or whatever kind of nut butter or seed butter you choose. You could use, this would be delicious with almond butter. You can do it with sun butter. You could do it with, I guess you could do it with tahini. I've never tried tahini, but I've tried other butters, like other nut butters and sun butter. All right, so I want to put them as flat as I can on the tray. And the next, and then the other ingredients are peanut butter, salt, and chocolate. I use, what I'm using today is a dark, very lightly sweetened dark chocolate chips that, now I'll explain that when I get there. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a dollop of peanut butter or whatever your nut butter is on each of the dates. And this is a great snack because when you're done, it's going to be cool too, because we're going to freeze them. And it's delicious. And dates are naturally sweet. They're good for you. And I mean, you don't want to obviously eat the whole tray at once, but peanut butter or whatever nut butter or seed butter you choose is loaded with protein. And if you use like a dark chocolate chip, that you could even find them that are sweetened with coconut sugar or monk fruit, I've seen. So you want to go with the darker chocolate because it's going to have less sugar in it. And one that has one of those natural sweeteners, even better. Or you could use just like a dark chocolate bar and melt it and just put a little honey or maple syrup in it if you wanted to do that. So I do have to say that normally I would melt the chocolate, but it is so hot today that I do not want to turn the oven on, even the stove on at all, and heat up the house. So I'm gonna go straight with the chocolate chips, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna melt the chocolate and put it on, and then it's gonna harden up again anyway. So I feel like when it's this hot, what difference does it make? So these are mini chips, so I'm just gonna sprinkle some, as much chocolate as you want, or just a little for some flavor, on each of these, on top of the peanut butter. And like I said, super easy, super quick. You could eat them like this, but they're much better when you freeze them, let me tell you. So much better. All right, just a few chips here. Put them on there. I think we're pretty good. And then I've got Himalayan pink salt. You could just sprinkle if you have that. I like this because it's gonna be a little bit larger flakes. And I just sprinkle a little bit. There's already some salt in the peanut butter, but it just gives it another little extra bit of flavor. And that is all there is to it. I'm gonna pop these in the freezer and enjoy them for a snack with you in a little while. Okay guys, it's snack time. And these were in the freezer. Look how delicious they look. Just for a couple of hours is really all it took. Leave them longer. And what I do is I put them in a freezer container. I keep them wrapped in the parchment or the wax paper, whatever I have them on. And then I just pop them in and keep them in the freezer because they're really good cold. So they're a little chewy. My dates, and they have that salty, sweet. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Just don't eat them all at once. Have one or two, and that's all. But it hits the spot. It's cool and refreshing on these hot days, and it's really delicious. So I've been looking for some more no-bake recipes. I ran out of dates. And I realized that Thrive Market is having a big summer sale, and organic dates happen to be one of the things that are on the sale. And I have an order that's going to be shipping, I think tomorrow or the next day. So I added 2 bags of them so I'd have more dates. Dates are super easy. They're good fiber, and they're a way to sweeten a lot of things without added sugar. You know, I'm not saying that you want to eat tons of dates every day, but when you're going through a hot, summer week where the temps are really, really hot and you want to make some no-bake treats or just some snacks that you can have on hand for yourself or for the kids, you can do like protein balls, and I will be sharing some more recipes once I get my dates. There's a lot of easy things you can do. You can throw dates and nuts and coconut and some things together in the food processor and make like protein balls, and you can even make like a no-bake brownie with nuts like walnuts and dates and cocoa powder, and they're fudgy and delicious. It's not the same as a brownie, but like I said. And then of course ice cream is a great option as well, and I don't have an ice cream machine. Someday I want to get a creamy, because I think a creamy would be really awesome to have. But when I was visiting my sister, she had a creamy, and we made some really yummy things in there because you freeze the contents of it and then you put it in the machine and it creams it up. So you can do all sorts of things with that. So if you have a creamy, experiment with that. You're not using a lot of heat to do that. You're just using a little bit of electricity. So, but there are a few other things that you can do without an ice cream machine. So there's a great recipe that I used to always make for my kids when they were younger, and it's super easy. You whip up heavy cream and you add a can of sweetened condensed milk to it. Now it is sweet, but it's not the same. If you get a good organic, I would get like an organic sweetened condensed milk, or even a coconut milk, sweetened condensed coconut milk. And at least you know it's a little bit healthier. It's still got sugar in it, but it's better than ice cream that you're buying at the store, or going out for ice cream gets so expensive. I was talking to somebody about that just recently and how much it cost for like 2 or 3 people to go out for ice cream. It's crazy expensive. So if you can make a treat like that, and that you can flavor with anything. You could make it chocolate, you could make it mint, you could make it, you put fruit in it, you can make a strawberry or blueberry or whatever fruits are in season. You could do like a cinnamon, like a snickerdoodle flavor. There's so many different flavors you could do with ice cream like that. So that's an option. I've been freezing yogurt and adding a little bit of peanut butter or nut butter to it and stirring that up and freezing it. The only thing I've realized is you really need to freeze that in portions, because if you're freezing it in a big container, it comes out, if you catch it after a few hours, it's like soft serve and then it's fine. But if you let it stay a few hours too long or overnight, it's rock hard. So if you can do it in smaller, like portion size, or if a bunch of you are going to eat it, you're going to have to let it sit out for a while and get soft, and then maybe whip it up with the beater or something, so that, you know, I guess you could put it in the food processor. You just don't want to overdo it, because you don't want it to melt back down if it's a really hot day either. But if you can whisk it up a little bit so that it's creamy, and then you could add to that nuts, fruit. I mean, you could just do yogurt too. You don't have to do the peanut butter with it. And you can add chocolate chips. You could add fresh fruit, frozen fruit, whatever you want. The other thing that I love to do, and this is super easy, is freeze bananas. So make sure they're ripe, peel them, freeze them, and when they're frozen, put them in the food processor or the blender. You may have to add a little bit of milk or some kind of liquid, not a lot, just a little bit, to get it, because you want it to start to get a little bit creamy. And then you can add nuts, fruit, coconut, chocolate chips, whatever you want to it. And that is delicious, and it's really cool and refreshing. Now, the other thing to remember on these hot days is cool meals that you don't have to cook in the house. Things like salads are great. I think I talked about this in the first half of the video, but just think about not cooking inside. Grill outside, or cook stuff ahead and have it handy in the fridge. And cool meals, cool foods. Cucumbers are very cooling. Watermelon. Just be careful where you get your watermelon. I've been hearing some things. So if you have a local farm that you can get watermelon from, that's really your best bet. And other melons like cantaloupe and honeydew. You could eat frozen fruit, like you can eat frozen berries, or grapes is another great thing to freeze and eat them frozen. They're really refreshing that way. Watermelon too. And any of those fruits, if you freeze, if you've got frozen strawberries, or you've got frozen melon or mango or any of that, you can throw it in the blender or the food processor and kind of whip that up and make it into like a sorbet or a slushie. And it's delicious, and it's cool and refreshing. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and don't turn the oven on unless you really have to. I mean, if your house is air conditioned, it's different, but it's still going to heat the house up. And when it's a 90+ degree day and your electric bill is already over the roof and you're fighting to keep the temp in your house reasonable to keep everybody cool, turning the oven on just heats up the house, or even the stove. So think of ways. If you have some suggestions, I'd love to see them in the comments below. I hope you're all staying cool wherever you are. Peppermint spray is another great way to cool down. God bless you. There will be a link to the recipe in the comments below. I am catching up. I'm sorry on that. I'm behind on a couple recipes. I'm catching up on those. They'll all be up on the blog this week. And God bless you, and I'll see you again soon. Hey guys, one more thing. That summer sale that Thrive Market is having, if you check the link below and you use my link to join and get your order on Thrive Market, you're going to save even more. So check for that link below and check out all the great things that they have in their summer sale this week.